What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be revealing to you guys my predictions for WrestleMania 38, and I have to admit, looking at this card, I don't know if it will top last year's. Now if you guys hear music in the background, I actually have Zelda's Lullaby from Twilight Princess on YouTube on my laptop. I wanted to have it on my Fire Stick, but I have something else on here, so no copyrights. You guys know how this works with the algorithm. The mental health keeps kicking in. You guys know how it is. You guys know how it is. It ain't fun, trust me. So I do apologize if the music is too. Actually, let me turn it down. There we go. That should do it. There we go. Sorry guys, I had to knock it down a couple notches as far as like the volume. Anyway, let's get straight into it with a match that was actually that was announced this past Monday on Raw. I never thought we would ever see this. Omos versus the return of the almighty Bobby Lashley. Now this is fun. Now here's the thing. Bobby Lashley coming back as a babyface, I fucking love it. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. But this is basically a battle to see who truly is the baddest. And, I mean, come on. Come on, don't get me wrong. Omos, he's the giant. He's a big dude. Let's be real on that. But Bobby Lashley is the almighty. And MVP said it best. He's a kaiju. He's like a kaiju in WWE compared to guys like Omos, And yes, that was a Yu-Gi-Oh reference because there's a bunch of kaijus in Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyway, the thing about this match is that this was a last minute addition. But if you really think about it, who truly is the baddest? Is it Bobby Lashley or is it Omos? The answer, for me, it has to be Bobby Lashley, because when you look at everything that Lashley had accomplished throughout both times he had been in WWE, two-time ECW champion, his first run, two-time ECW champion and a former United States champion. His second run, 2 Intercontinental titles, his second United States title, and 2 WWE titles. So again, that begs the question: who truly is the baddest? Because Omos, the only title he's ever held in WWE were the Raw Tag Team titles with AJ Styles at last year's WrestleMania, which was actually kind of interesting, I must admit. But I have to go with Bobby Lashley on this one, just based on the fact that Lashley has more experience in the ring than Omos, but but still, Omos, he might be able to pull off the damn near impossible and topple the almighty. But Bobby Lashley, if there's anybody that can beat Omos one-on-one, it's gotta be Bobby Lashley. Next up, we move on to our next matchup that was announced this past Monday on Raw. Seth freaking Rollins versus, well, Vacant. We don't know. Vacant, undefeated. Let's be real. He's undefeated, right? He's undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. Vacant is undefeated. Give it up for Vacant in the comments. No. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, aside from the jokes, I know I made a bad joke, but aside from the jokes, we really don't know exactly who will be Seth's opponent come this weekend. In fact, I think it's Saturday. Let me check my phone because I have the screenshots. Yeah. So Saturday, we don't know who, because the match will take place Saturday. We don't really know exactly who is going to be his opponent. There's been a lot of rumors as of late that that apparently Shane McMahon, Vince's son, is gonna be returning to WWE again. But there's also been rumors of Cody Rhodes coming back as well at WrestleMania. And the funny thing about Cody is this: his last appearance at WrestleMania was inside AT&T Stadium, where he competed in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title, and excuse me. He ended up getting fired right during, I think, right before the draft. I think it was like right before the draft, which was rather interesting to say the very least. But honestly, I really don't know who is going to be Seth's opponent. I really don't know. This is one I can't call, because if we don't know his opponent, how am I supposed to call it? You know? So if it's someone like Shane McMahon, hands down, it's got to be Seth. Because Shane's record with WrestleMania is kind of mediocre, to be honest. But if it's Cody Rhodes, that would be a very interesting matchup. I would definitely say Cody Rhodes, but again, we really don't know, so yeah. But next up, we have the New Day versus Rich Holland and Sheamus. And you're wondering, New Day? I thought Big E got injured or something. He did, but still one more person. That would be King Woods. Apparently, they decided to take the King name out and replace it with his first name, Xavier, which is kind of bullshit in my opinion, but I guess he's gonna keep the crown. I really don't know what the hell's going on with WWE as far as the name changes. It's so weird, but I'm sticking with King Woods because he is our king, of course. But again, is King Woods and of course his right hand, Sir Kofi Kingston, against Rich Holland and Sheamus. This is an interesting development. This is an interesting situation, because Sheamus and Rich Holland have only been teaming up together for like a minute, where as opposed to the New Day, they've been together for 7 years, for almost 10 years, since 2015. Since was it this? I think it was what right around the end of 2014. It was like right around the end of 2014 that they had been together and dominated since. They are now 11-time tag team champions, which is awesome. Kofi Kingston is a former multi-time Intercontinental and United States champion, a former WWE champion. Big E is a 2-time Intercontinental champion, a Money in the Bank winner, and a former WWE champion as well. King Woods, he, as the name suggests, won King of the Ring. He's got his own show, his own YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down, big shout out, no copyrights, of course. He's currently the host of G4, which is awesome. There's nothing that these three can't do, but in this sense, it's based on who has more experience together, and obviously it's got to be New Day, so I gotta go with the New Day on this one. Next up, we have a triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team titles. It is RK Bro defending the titles against the Street Profits and the Alpha Academy. Now, this whole thing actually started, what was it, about a month ago. About a month ago, actually, funny enough. I think wasn't a month ago? Yeah, it was like about a month ago, and there was a fatal 4-way match to determine who would be the Raw Tag Team Champions. The champions at the time were obviously the Alpha Academy, Otis and Chad Gable, the Street Profits, RK Bro, and the team of Seth freaking Rollins, and of course Kevin Owens, which I will talk about that here in a little bit. But RK Bro ended up eliminating Seth Rollins from the equation, and Kevin Owens allowed them to pick up a victory over, I believe it was over Chad Gable, and that was like Seth's and Kevin's like one chance to get to WrestleMania. But now Kevin Owens has the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which I will talk about that here in a second. And of course, Seth Rollins, as I mentioned, will be in a match at WrestleMania on Saturday, but we don't really know who. So the question becomes, with this triple threat, who has the advantage? Nobody. There is no champion's advantage. The challengers don't have an advantage. It's basically a straight shot, you know? Pin or submission. Countouts, DQ are out the window. Pin or submission is all you need, you know? So the question, again, whose game is it when you in this scenario? Excuse me. In my opinion, it has to be RK Bros game, because Randy Orton has been in more triple threat, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, six-man matches in his career than almost anybody in WWE. So he knows the ins and outs of a quote unquote triple threat like this one. You know, it's interesting, but I think the Street Profits might have a slight advantage, but they really don't. I can't. I have to go with RK Bro on this one, because Orton, this will actually be, by having Randy Orton go into WrestleMania this weekend. I think it's Sunday. I think it's Sunday. If I'm right, it is indeed WrestleMania Sunday. By them going into WrestleMania on Sunday as the Raw Tag Team Champions, Randy Orton will be the only person in WWE to have walked into WrestleMania as an Intercontinental Champion, as a WWE Champion, as a United States Champion, and as a Raw and as a Tag Team Champion as well. In fact, I believe I can probably find it on social. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'm not so sure, but I believe so. I think he's the only person that was able to pull that off, but hang on, guys. I believe so. I can't even find that photo. There was a photo that I saw on Instagram, and I can't even find it now. Yeah, I can't even find it. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, he's the only person to do that, and honestly, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. It's pretty crazy, to say the very least. But yeah, I can't find it. Anyway, yeah. So who's got the advantage going into this match? It's definitely RK Bro. They're, because of the fact that Orton is experienced when it comes to WrestleMania. He won his match. His first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 20, where he, with Evolution, defeated the Rock and Sock Connection. His first loss was at WrestleMania 21, where he lost to The Undertaker. He lost in a triple threat match against Rey Mysterio for the world title with Kurt Angle involved. He lost the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania 23. At 23, he won a triple threat match to retain the WWE title against Triple H and John Cena. He lost to Triple H for the WWE title a year later, WrestleMania 26. a triple threat match against Cody Rhodes and Teddy DiBiase Jr., WrestleMania 27 against CM Punk, WrestleMania 28 against Kane, and if I remember correctly, against The Shield, and WrestleMania 29 against Daniel Bryan in a triple threat match with Batista, against Seth Rollins. 32 he was out. 33 against Bray Wyatt. 34 he lost. 35 he lost to AJ Styles. 36 he lost to Edge, and then last year he defeated the Fiend Bray Wyatt, so he's 7-10. He's actually 7-10 at WrestleMania. If I'm correct, I believe he is 7-10 at WrestleMania. Let's see. But yeah, I thought so. 6-10, or rather 7. Yeah, 6-10. Or actually, rather 7-10 if you count his match with Bray Wyatt at last year's WrestleMania. But yeah, 7-10, 7-10, which is pretty crazy. But again, RK Bro. I think RK Bro retains. Speaking of tag team titles, we move on to the SmackDown tag team titles between the Usos and the team of Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm gonna be honest. This might be a bit of a blowout because Boogs and Nakamura have only been teaming up together for like a year. Usos day one, since day one. Who wins? I gotta go with the Usos. They've been competing on a whole nother level since reuniting when Jimmy Uso came back from his knee injury. Since then, they've been on a tear as of late, and I think they might be able to pull it off. I ain't saying nothing else about this one. Next up, we move on to a match I did not think we would ever see. Sami Zayn versus, get this, Johnny Knoxville, where anything goes. And Johnny Knoxville is one of the stars of Jackass Forever, which I believe will be the last of the entire series. If I'm right on that, I believe it is. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to say the very least. But I will admit, this is gonna be... I don't even know how to describe this matchup. I think this might be a foregone conclusion. Sami Zayn wins, you would think. But we really don't know if Johnny Knoxville can wrestle. I mean, he did compete in in the ring. We don't know if he can wrestle in the ring, but this is Sami Zayn. He's been competing on a different level than he normally did when he first got called up to the main roster. But I don't know. This is one I can't call. One I can't call. A part of me wants to say Johnny Knoxville, But another part of me wants to say Sami Zayn, so this one I can't call. We don't really know if Johnny Knoxville can wrestle, but we will find out this coming weekend. I think it's WrestleMania Saturday? It could be Sunday, I don't even know. WrestleMania Sunday will be when the match will take place. But next up we have Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee. Yes, SmackDown commentator Pat McAfee. His first WrestleMania match ever. And you want to know the funny thing about this whole thing? The last time I called a Pat McAfee match was in 2020. It was in 2020. His first match on NXT was at TakeOver 30 when he lost to Adam Cole, baby. And it was probably one of the most insane matches I had ever seen, ever. But from there, Pat McAfee competed again, but at NXT TakeOver War Games, when he led Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan to the battlefield against all the members of the Undisputed Era, which was probably the start of the end of the Undisputed Era, which was very sad. I was so pissed off about that one. That pissed me off. But this is his first match since War Games, and the question becomes, will ring rust come into play for Pat McAfee? And the answer is yes. Ring rust will come into play. He does have some experience in the ring, being inside of War Games, being in the ring with Adam Cole, but it's a matter of how Austin Theory can compete with a guy the likes of Pat McAfee. You know, let's not forget, this is Austin's first WrestleMania as well, and there's been a lot of speculation with Pat McAfee that he might transition back into the ring from commentary permanently, but we don't know if those rumors are true. But this is a very interesting one. Sorry guys, my desk moved. There's been a lot of rumors going on, but I must admit it's this is interesting too, because as I said, Pat McAfee hadn't been in the ring since War Games, and Austin Theory, he's been putting in the work every single week that he competes, and Pat McAfee's been sitting on commentary. Now, of course, I'm not disrespecting Pat in any way, shape, or form. All I'm saying is that, well, ring rust will indeed come into play, but who comes out the victor? I gotta go with Austin Theory on this one, because of the fact that he's been putting in the work each and every week, despite the ego. Next up, we move on to a match that definitely needs to end. The rivalry needs to come to an end. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. I'm not even going to say anything except, what the fuck. This is a match that nobody wants to see. Even though people love Drew McIntyre, nobody wants to see this match. So, I'm going with Drew McIntyre. Not much else to say about that. Next up, we have the women's tag team titles, and it's between the champions Carmella and Queen Zelina, Team Bad, or I guess the Boston Glow Connection, as I call them. Liv for Brutality, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, and of course the team of Natalya and Shayna Baszler. This is the addition of Natalya and Shayna Baszler was last minute. And this is going to be an interesting one. The last time we had a fatal 4-way for the women's tag titles at WrestleMania, it was actually in 2019, where we saw Sasha Banks and Bayley defend the titles against the Iconics, Nia Jax and Tamina, and the Divas of Doom, Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and the Iconics ended up winning those titles, thus becoming the longest reigning tag champions in history, as far as we know. That night, WrestleMania 35, 16 matches on the card. The second most amount of matches in a single WrestleMania. But WrestleMania in 2020, WrestleMania 36, had 18 matches, which half of them made no sense. No sense whatsoever. But it is what it is. I'm going to be honest, this matchup is probably going to be a squash, because we don't... I think it's going to be WrestleMania Sunday that they'll be defending the titles, but I mean, just like with the Raw Tag Team titles, champions, the champions don't have an advantage, and they're going to be... He's going to be it's gonna be a very long night for the champions, but Team Bad, the Boston Globe Connection, they have not teamed up together since 2015. Let's think about that for a minute, because when Sasha Banks returned from her injury in 2016, Sasha became a babyface. Tamina and Naomi both remained heels in WWE. By the time the 2016 draft came, Naomi returned to WWE as a babyface with the music that she has now. And since then, she's won the SmackDown Women's title twice. And that's it. Sasha Banks, on the other hand, has won the Raw Women's title 5 times, the SmackDown Women's title once, and the Women's Tag Team titles twice. Sasha Banks, if they were to win, she could be the only woman in WWE to have held the Women's Tag Team titles 3 times. 3 times. Actually, I take that back. No, she would not be. She would only be the second. Who would be the first was actually Nikki ASH, actually, funny enough. But yeah, she could be the second one to pull it off, as could Shayna Baszler. She can also be the second one to win the titles 3 times, which is possible, but we won't know until WrestleMania. But I have to go with the Boston Globe Connection. They've got so much. They are 10 times more determined to win those titles than any of these other teams, in my opinion. I'm sticking with them, plain and simple. Next up, we move on to a dream match that became very personal between Edge and the phenomenal AJ Styles. Now, you notice I didn't say the Rated R Superstar Edge. That's because apparently he does not want to go by that moniker anymore, apparently. So, it is what it is. But I don't really know much about this new Edge, this new side of him. But honestly, I just don't know. This is something that is... This is a match based on Edge's return in 2020. Because if you guys recall, Edge encountered AJ Styles in the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match and instantly and instantly the fans wanted to see it. They wanted to see the dream match, and now we're finally getting it, but not in the way that we wanted. We wanted to see the rated, the fans wanted to see the rated R superstar versus the phenomenal AJ Styles, but nope. We're getting a different side of Edge that nobody thought we would ever see. But this is a match not just based on respect, but it's also based on who is the top star on Raw. Is it AJ Styles or is it Edge? Edge, aside from the 3 years that he has been, or rather the 2 years that he's been back in in WWE, AJ Styles has been putting in the work week after week after week after week. Whether he was on Raw, SmackDown, or even in NXT, because if you guys remember, let's see. If you guys remember, what was it, New Year's Evil, if I remember correctly? I think it was New Year's Evil that AJ Styles competed on NXT. Yeah, it was actually it was on NXT that that AJ Styles competed against Grayson Waller. Sorry, it took me a second to remember. I apologize. It took me forever to figure that one out. But this is different. This is a different Edge that we've never seen before, and we don't know what this version of Edge will be capable of. But I gotta go with AJ Styles on this one. I apologize if I took a second for that one, but I got lost in thought, of Zelda's Lullaby. I got completely lost in thought. Anyway, yeah. We don't know we don't know much about this version of Edge, but he wanted the Pitbull AJ Styles from his days in TNA. That was the AJ Styles that Edge wants. He's getting it. He's getting the Pitbull from the Pitbull AJ Styles from TNA, from his days in TNA, dominating, winning championships left and right. That's the AJ Styles that Edge wants. That's what he's gonna get. But AJ Styles, I think, is gonna be the one to beat Edge at WrestleMania. Next up, we have why I don't know. We have The Miz teaming up with Logan Paul, taking on the Mysterios. I'm not gonna say anything else about this match, because Logan Paul he should just stick to what he knows best, and that's opening up Pokemon packs for his YouTube channel that probably everybody will unsubscribe to after WrestleMania. And The Miz should just stick with doing what he does best, and that is being an ass. I'm going with the Mysterios. I ain't saying nothing more. Next up, we have a match that has gone personal right the fuck quick. It is Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belaire for the Raw Women's title. And this is probably by far the biggest rematch in WWE history. A match that the rivalry started at SummerSlam last August, where it was originally supposed to have been Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, but because of COVID, Sasha Banks was out, so Carmella stepped in as a last minute, participant. Out comes Becky Lynch as the second last minute participant. Basically turned heel on Bianca Belair, hit her with a manhandle slam, and thus she had won the SmackDown Women's title. And once the draft came, a swap. Charlotte Flair became SmackDown Women's Champion again. Becky Lynch became Raw Women's Champion again. And 3 years. It's funny how 3 years can make a massive difference, because Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 35 defeated Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's titles. 1 year later, Becky Lynch defeated Shayna Baszler to retain the Raw Women's title, and then had to give it up because of her pregnancy, and nobody's been able to beat her since, for the Raw Women's title in 3 years, which is awesome, which is impressive. But if there's anybody that can pull it out, it is Bianca Belair. Number one rule with Bianca Belair: don't touch the hair. Becky Lynch tried, she failed, and this past Monday on Raw, she cut Becky Lynch's hair, which was hilarious for me. It was funny. It was funny to see it, but that's karma. That's karma for you. But this is gonna be a fucking massacre. This is gonna be probably by far I don't even know how to describe this match, but the next two are gonna be just as. So for this one, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Bianca, but I gotta go with Becky on this one. There's no way, after being back in WWE for only a few months, for only a minute, there's no way Becky Lynch will be able to lose. There's no way. But at the same time, Bianca Belair, she won her first WrestleMania match, so could lightning strike twice? Absolutely. But I can't call. This is one match I cannot call. But next up, we have Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, since we were on the topic of those two women. Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title. This is not going to end well. I'm just going to be real. This match will not end so well. Why? It is simple. It is a battle between the figure eight versus the ankle lock and the armbar. People forget that it doesn't matter. People forget that Ronda Rousey has a plethora of submission holds that she can use on Charlotte Flair. And this is Ronda's first WrestleMania match in 3 years. She had been gone for 3 years. When she left WWE, she was dealing with a hand injury, and when that injury was healed up, her other hand was broken, and she had just given birth, and she also was dealing with dealing with her farm, her animals and whatnot, and she came back this past January at the Royal Rumble, which was awesome. It was awesome to see Ronda Rousey come back, but oh my god, if you guys did not watch that match, you guys really need to watch it. The faces on everybody that was in that ring, that was left in the match, absolutely just stunned. So who comes out on top? I gotta go with Ronda Rousey on this one. I know that ring rust will come into play, but I think Ronda Rousey might be able to pull it off. But this now brings me to the main event of WrestleMania Sunday Night 2. It is Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Winner take all. Apparently they're dubbing it as a championship unification match, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be a title unification match, because if it were to be a title unification match, we would have one championship at the end of all of it. But it's not. There'll still be two titles. We all know how this is going to work. This will probably be the last chapter in the saga, in the rivalry of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. This will be the last. This could very well be the last chapter in one of the most storied rivalries in WWE since Rock versus Austin. Think about that. Think about that. Rock versus Austin is now on the same level as Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the rivalry with these two gentlemen started back in 2015, where Roman Reigns had just won the Royal Rumble. He was given the chance to go to WrestleMania in Santa Clara and face Brock Lesnar for the WWE title, which then ended with Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank. And since then, they've been at each other's throats literally so many times, including their last encounter in the ring one-on-one together. Was that Crown Jewel, I believe? Was that Crown Jewel? But wow. Guys, look at this really quickly. My book is like falling apart. Anyway, wow, I really need a new one. It didn't matter where, what match they had, whether it was a fatal 4-way, a triple threat, it didn't matter. There was always a way for those two to cross paths. And Brock Lesnar has won most of those matches. Roman Reigns has only won what? One, two? Only two? Two. So the question becomes, who truly is the top dog in WWE? The answer, you would think it would be Roman Reigns, but it's actually Brock Lesnar, because he's been in the business for 20 years. Roman Reigns has only been in WWE for only what? 10 years? For only what, 10 years, I believe? So, I don't know. This is an interesting one, but I have to go with Brock Lesnar on this one. I know that I shouldn't bet against Roman Reigns, but you can't, at the same time, you can't bet against Brock Lesnar either. So I gotta go with Brock Lesnar. I think he could very well will be the #1 guy to take the Universal title off of Roman Reigns. So that's who I'm sticking with. But that brings me to the question of the day. Among the card as it sits now, because there might be more come this weekend, what are your predictions for WrestleMania 38? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more pay-per-view predictions in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you guys want to send me, and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.